The next argument, sort of theodicy or argument against the problem of evil, is what there's a variety of names, and each one has its own positives and negatives. I mean, they're different. There's various names for it, and each one has its own intricacies as far as the way it answers it. But it's sometimes called a hidden harmony, or a best of all possible worlds, or some sort of argument like evil is therapy. But there are various names for uh, the problem of evil, or as far as this theodicy, which we'll just call hidden harmony. But the idea of hidden harmony is the idea that like with a piece of music, that music has its highs and lows, and part of music is it's the arrangement of music. You can't have all the same note and have beautiful music. You have to have highs and low notes. You have to have parts that are slow and parts that are fast. That's all part of making a good piece of music, a good CD, a good work, a good opera, whatever whatever your work of music is that you're turning to. It must have a variety. And that's all part of the harmony. The harmony of the music is that you have to not just be all the same note. And so the hidden harmony is the idea that in order for this world to be as good as it is, you have to have highs and lows. You have to have positives and negatives. If everything was great all the time, you wouldn't be able to fully appreciate the good. The idea here is I mean, for example, I don't know, like as I've been giving these lectures, I have just barely a little bit of a cold. I've had like a little bit of a cold for like a week now, a week and a half. And today it's a little bit more just like I've been sneezing more. But it had been kind of up in my head, just a lot of pressure. But now it's down like kind of just like sneezing. And so talking at times, I am, kind of having to deal with a little bit of phlegm. And, the case is that when you get sick, you then appreciate being well. Because you ever been sick and, you just can't even get up off the couch. You're just laying there and, like, just walking to the bathroom is exhausting. You're just tired from walking across the room. You're laying there and your body aches and you just want to, go to sleep. And yet you can't sleep and you can't stay away. It's just miserable, right? And then one day you wake up after having felt like crap for a few days and you feel like $1,000,000, right? And you get up and you're like, woo, I feel great. And you jump up and you dance and you run across the room, right? Well, the case is if you had gotten up on Tuesday morning, any day of the week, any other day, and you got up and go, woo, I feel great. I can walk across the room without getting tired. People would think you were crazy, and rightly so. It's only after you've been sick that you appreciate being well. And the idea here is that, to a certain degree, things like death gets you to appreciate life. The very fact that you will someday die should motivate you to live life now. Carpe diem, seize the day. You're going to be dead. You should live now. As far as it goes, I mean, the case is that our mortality informs us and encourages us to live life. A lot of times people say, I think that part of people, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, would have had kids by the time they were 20. But most of you in this class, even the youngest of you, probably would be married and perhaps already pregnant or having had a child, even those of you who are 18. And the reason is because the life expectancy back then, there would have been a high probability you would have died by 30 or 40. I mean, you would not have lived to be 80 and 90 years old like you do today. Today we live longer, but as a result of living longer, we then wait till we're like, late 20s, early 30s. Even, I mean, I have a good friend of mine who just got married this summer at 36 or 37. And I was kind of going, he's a year younger than me, but I was sort of joking that, as I was in his wedding party, I was like, man, really, I'm just too old to be in a wedding party. I mean, this is something guys in their 20s should do, not guys that are really close to 40 should be doing. And, but the case is that because we live longer, we put off things like getting married. We put off things like having children. We put off, getting this career that we want. And because at the end of the day, we sort of, we have no impetus to live. Because only when you begin to realize, like, I'm getting older, death is approaching, I may not be able to have kids if I get too much older, I don't want to have kids when I'm in my 60s, that kind of thing, that it begins to put some emphasis on living now. And so death and disease and seeing people sick and being sick ourselves, all of that gives us a sense of urgency to live this life. And that's what the hidden harmony is all about. It's about, if we, by being sick, it gives us the ability to appreciate and to live life now. And not just live life, but it also gives us the ability to appreciate the good. That if we were to never get sick and we were just to live our lives, never having gotten sick our entire life, and we just lived this way until one day we drop dead, that we would never have appreciated our health at any point. It's only by being sick, by injuring ourselves, and going below the positive, this even plane of happiness in our lives. It's only by dropping below that and experiencing pain that we're able to then appreciate just the ordinary so much more. We're able to strive for so much more. We're able to appreciate it because we have experienced the pain. And that is what the hidden harmony is about. It's the idea that God gives us pain as a form of therapy, as a way to make the world better, as a way to give us appreciation for this life.